If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years, to me, it's a no, you don't.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this conversation, it is very interesting and I need you guys to come, as always, come join in this conversation, okay? So this conversation is a conversation of a sister who came online to say that if you're dating someone for 2 years and you're not sure if you want to marry the person, that means the person is not for you. You should move on with the life. And this has struck the conversation of people asking, is 2 years too long, too short to get to know somebody for marriage? And for me, I find this conversation very interesting, especially for someone that dated for 10 years before she got married and now been married for 10 years plus. I have a lot to say. So let's go check out what this sister have to say, because this conversation is amazing. What do you think is the right time to get to know someone before you proceed to marriage? And is it for you, is it if you know, you know, or you have to take your time? I want to know your own thought down in the comment section. So let's go check out what the sister have to say. But before we go into the video, have you subscribed to this channel? If you haven't, smash the subscribe button and click the notification so you get notification once I upload new videos. Okay, so let's go check out this video and then we'll come back and talk more.
If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years, to me, it's a no, you don't. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm the type of person who would get married in Vegas after knowing someone for like a month. So like, don't take this that seriously. But for real, like that first year, all the excitement, the honeymoon phase, all of that, okay, you've given that a year to wear off. You've done everything together once. You've spent the holidays together once. You've done Valentine's Day together once, whatever. Year two is when the struggles come and you can't really hide who you are anymore. You know who that person is and they should know who you are. Obviously, there's more contextual factors that go into this, like if one person is in school or you're just very young. I totally get like why it could take longer than just a 2-year relationship, let's get married. But shouldn't you know after you've done everything twice? I'll probably end up divorced, but let me know what you think.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought. And do you agree with her that 2 years, after 2 years, then probably you should be getting married? I love to know your own talk down in the comment section, because I find this conversation interesting, especially for someone that dated our husband for 10 years before we got married. I have a lot to say about this conversation, but this video has gotten people talking and people have so much to say if 2 years is enough for someone to move on to marriage and all that, like literally. Anyway, I love to know your own take on this. Do you think 2 years should be the mark point of where you should date and then get married, or 2 years is too early, or 2 years is too short? Love to know your own take on this. So with that all said, guys, let's go check out people's thought on this and then we'll come back and talk more.
If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years,
So no, sis, I am gonna take it this serious because you're doing nothing but speaking straight facts and you ain't telling nothing but the truth.
Okay.
But you are so right. It does not take a man that long to know whether you're the one or not. And if a man has not popped the question or even inquired about tying the knot between 1 to 2 years, I am sorry to break it to you, ladies. You are nothing more than just a placeholder, meaning the only thing he's going to do is just string you along, sell you a false dream until the woman that he actually wants to settle down with and commit to comes along. And then you know what he's going to do after that? He's simply just going to toss you to the curb. So, ladies, take it from somebody who has a lot of experience. If a man does not propose to you between 1 to 2 years, I am telling you, he is not that into you and he has no plans or no intentions on proposing to you. So don't say I didn't tell you. You've been warned.
if you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years,
I agree and I disagree with the original creator. At the same time, I do like, yeah, if you've been around somebody constantly for 2 years, you honestly would know, like, hey, why wouldn't I get married? But at the same time, it's like 2 years is still pretty young in a relationship. And honestly, I feel like in the first 2 to 4 years in a relationship, depending on how long you are together, it should just kind of be for fun. And granted, everyone is different. You know, some people it takes 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 years, 2 months, 20 years, you never know. But when you know, you know. But at the same time, too, there shouldn't be like a timestamp on when you get married, in my personal opinion, You should just enjoy the ride, enjoy the flow. And also, to be in a serious relationship, y'all gotta go through some shit. And I'm not talking about cheating, like family issues is the main thing and how y'all both react to each other's family.
Okay.
Just take your time, find happiness, find love. Your love will come.
If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years,
then don't get married yet. If you haven't figured out if you want kids or not, if you haven't figured out that you can live together, if you haven't figured out that you can go through a really shitty time together, maybe you're not ready to get married yet, because it's the rest of your life. It's not just some 2 year Toyota-thon lease deal. You're going to spend the rest of your lives together. And that's a serious commitment. And maybe you need to work on both of yourselves before you're able to be the best you can be for each other. And honestly, you can take 10 years if you need. Some people don't ever get married, and that's fine. It's a huge commitment, and it's a legal commitment. So there's some serious ramifications behind it. Don't make that decision in a rush. Be the best you can be for who you want to spend the rest of your life with, for yourself.
if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years.
If I could wish for anything, it would be for everyone on TikTok to stop giving relationship advice or their opinions on relationships. There's 7 billion people in this world. What works for you might not work for everyone else. Not everyone wants to get married. Some people like being in relationships for 9 years with no ring. Who cares? I used to be the girly that gave all my friends relationship advice because I thought I was doing it correctly, and then I was completely humbled when my relationship blew up in my face. And that's when I realized that there is simply no rules to relationships. There is no rhyme or reason. You can follow this person's advice, and it could still blow up in your face. Do what feels right for you. If you need advice, go talk to a therapist. Become so secure in yourself that whatever happens in your relationship, you know that you will be okay. That is the only advice I would ever give anybody, is just at the end of the day, make sure that you will be okay if this relationship does not succeed.
If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years,
I really enjoy this kind of discourse because, I find it really, really interesting. But I did get married to my husband, I think, after 4 months or so of us dating. We met in October and then we got married in March the following year. I feel like with knowing and not knowing, it's really dependent on the person. And we have to also be mindful, I guess, and understanding that when you are in a relationship with somebody or you're meeting somebody, you are not always going to present your true self because you want to impress them. You want to show up as the best version of you. And I feel like there are so many situations that happen, so many past situations that can kind of steer somebody from wanting to marry them immediately within 2 years. I think 2 years, is a pretty good start, and at least having the conversation instead of just jumping right into it, because as this creator said, like, there's age and stuff like that kind of plays a factor, and obviously finances and all these things, because I wanted to make it clear that marriage is way more than just the glitz and glam, the ring, all of this kind of stuff. When you get married, you become one. So let's say, for example, your husband has a crap ton of student loans. Those become your student loans. If you have bad credit, he has bad credit. So there's a lot of things that people don't sit down and have conversations about when it comes to marriage. All they think about is just like, okay, let's get a wedding dress, a suit, let's have this big old grand thing, which is amazing, which is awesome, but we really have to be serious about marriage, especially if you want it to last longer than marriages are lasting now. So those are just my 2 cents. Have open and honest conversations and always have a backup plan, because even in marriage too, we don't want to, in a sense, make a mistake. All mistakes are learning lessons, but if you can avoid getting a divorce within a year or two in your marriage, I suggest that you really take the time to get to know the person, that you guys go through life experiences, because marriage itself isn't hard. Life is, and you want somebody that you want to do life with forever. So yeah, love y'all.
if you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years,
Okay, straight up, I have to stitch this. And what she says at the end of the video is, I will probably be divorced. And don't get offended, honey, but I can say this because I've been there. And I've been in relationships like for the last 10 years. And then before that, I was only single 4 to 6 months max. And yeah, it you could be with somebody for 2 years and be like, yeah, I want to marry that person. But I want to tell you, and there's been a lot of other ladies posting videos like this saying like how great their relationships are and how a man should treat them, and you'll know when you know, and all this stuff. And then you ask them how long they've been together, and it's like 2 years, a year and a half, 3 years. I'm going to tell you that I have been married once and divorced. Then I was with somebody for 6 years who I had a child with 2 years into the relationship. And after that 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, everything changed. Now, this is not everyone's situation, but after going through all of these long-term relationships that I've gone through, I truly believe that you do not know somebody that well in 2 years. Like, just because you've had one holiday or one birthday or one whatever with them, you really need to go through some hard shit with people to know who they are. When life is not going great, you need to see how they respond to that. How do they respond to anger? How do they behave when they're pissed off? How do they act under stress? How do they treat your kids or their kids when they're losing their shit and they don't have money in the bank? Like, there's all these other things that you just don't figure out until time passes. So yeah, we can be wild and get married in 6 months like I have done in the past. But what I have learned from all of these things of being with these men from 4 to 6 years is that 2 years didn't tell me who they were.
If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years.
Hello, everyone. For me personally, I would say that it would even only take me about 5 months to know if I want to marry someone. And then, of course, still waiting a little bit of time after that to weather these storms and get to know this person. But either way, I still feel like 2 years is too long. You know whether or not you want to marry that person. You know how you feel. You spent enough time with them. You have gone through enough tests to understand and see how this person responds in certain situations. I'm telling you, I would know within 5 months if I wanted to marry that person. To actually get married, probably a little bit more time after that. But 2 years is too long. You would know already. I thank you so much for your time. You have a blessed day.
If you don't know if you want to marry someone after being in a relationship with them for 2 years.
I don't think this is completely true because there are a lot of us who are kind of unsure about the institution of marriage itself as a whole. And the being unsure about whether or not I want to marry my partner has nothing to do with my partner. Like, I could see myself spending the rest of my life with my partner, probably. But will we ever get married? I don't know. But I also don't think that the goal of every relationship has to be marriage. Like, my first relationship, someone that I dated for many, many years, very early on, he told me that he absolutely never wanted to have kids, and I absolutely did want to have kids, which is hilarious because now I don't want to have kids. But I just told him very early on, I was like, okay, well, we'll never get married. And people would be like, oh, well, he'll change his mind someday. And I was like, or he won't. And I'm not trying to make him change his mind because that's not really a healthy way to have a relationship. But we had fun. We hung out. We were in a relationship. The goal of our relationship at the time was not marriage. And I think that that's okay sometimes. Like, it's okay if you are just dating someone without the goal of marriage. Not every relationship has to have that goal.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts on this conversation. Do you think 2 years is too long or 2 years is too short for you to get to know someone and get married? I want to know your own thought down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful as always, okay? So go ahead and share your thought. Feel free. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So feel free and share your thought, okay? So for me personally, I, like some of you guys don't know if you're new here, okay, let me tell you my little life history. I have been married for 10 years. I dated my husband for 10 years. So I've been over 10 years, okay? So myself and my husband we've been together for over 20 years, so 21 years thereabout. And this conversation of 2 years is da-da-da-da-da. I feel like when you want to, I feel like first off, you cannot know somebody 100%. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to accept it, like, date this person for 10 years, 20 years, 2 years, you can't know somebody 100% because whether you like it or not, as people grow, people change. As people evolve, learn, know themselves better, things change, people expectation, needs, what they want, how they see life changes. So if that is it, no, that is not a, like, okay, you've known the person good enough. No. But one thing, like the last lady was talking about, was like marriage is, why is every relationship you want to be in end up in marriage? Yes, I've been with my husband for a long time. I love him to death. I know he loves me to death. But there's one thing I know for sure, and I've had this conversation with my husband so many times. I like, if anything happened to this marriage and we have to go our separate ways, I will not do marriage again. I will not. Not just because I see the entire institution of marriage as a scam. I don't believe in, like, the entire institution of marriage. I feel like the structure and everything, like, it's not for me. And I feel like, look, you come to think about it, I feel like maybe that's the reason why we stayed 10 years before we got married. And I think maybe that's an internal battle I was fighting with myself, like, because I was asking questions. Yes, I want this person, I love this person, I want to do life with this person. But the institution of marriage, the way it's structured, okay, that's a story for another. I've talked about this a couple of times before, but yeah. So I feel like 2 years, me personally, I feel like 2 years is not enough for you to get married. If marriage is your thing, I don't think 2 years is enough. I feel like 2 years is so short because someone can keep an art for 2 years. And the thing is that there's so many factors that goes into the 2 years. I also feel like age to kind of come into it. I feel like I, as a person now that I already know myself, I know what I want, I know who I am, I know if I ever want to do marriage again, I feel like I will not date for long because I know who I want and what to look out for and all that. But in a place where you have not done the work, you don't know yourself, you're just going through life and all that, you just need somebody, you're just in a relationship because of being in a relationship sake and just doing life the way most of us are, just without really doing the work, doing the healing, knowing ourselves. I feel like take your time because the other person, you don't know if the other person has done the work, has done the healing. But I feel like me personally, where I am now in my life, if I was single, I'll be able to identify somebody that has done the healing. Like, I know what to look out for, some of the red flags that I will not settle for. Like, I know my standard. My standard is there, not the standard society as expects from me. It's my own standard. Like, I'm living life on my own terms, and it is what it is. So I feel like 2 years is short if you've not done the work and all that. But I feel like when you've done the work, you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you are, everything. I feel like 2 years is even too long. Like, you just know right away. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like you can know somebody 100% though, because even the me I am now, I wasn't this person 5-6 years ago. I've changed, I've grown, I've evolved. So, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be even the same person that I am now in the next 5 years. So people change, and if you're going to be with somebody, you're looking yourself like, is this somebody I want to do life with? Not just get married, like ask yourself, is this somebody I want to do life with? So for me, 2 years, 2 years is short. If it's about knowing the person and getting to know the person, you can know somebody 100%. And that's fine too. And that's why there's divorce too. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but do it in a respectful way. There's going to be a part 2 of this video of another woman reacting to this that got a lot of people talking, which that conversation is another amazing conversation, which I'm going to touch about the men knowing and not knowing. Like, because some people will say that, oh, a man will put a ring on it. A man knows in the first 2 weeks, 1 week. I'm going to talk about that in the next video, okay? So anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section. Share your thoughts. Love to know what you think. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do. We have banging conversation. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see. and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl. Yeah, okay. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.